Hi, I'm Ashley Adamson, and this is just going to be a free-form video. I've done a lot of highly structured videos recently, so I just wanted to do more free-form. This is kind of an update of like where I'm at and just doing some processing for making these videos and just being a woman and sex and one's relationship to herself and embracing femininity and whatever other topics kind of come up in this process of self-processing. I've heard from you that you enjoy self-processing videos because the reflection and the questions that are asked can help you process and locate things within yourself. So let's go on this ride together and find out more about who we are. So first of all, I just want to acknowledge you on this path, on this process of discovering yourself and supporting yourself. Well done, like hats off to being able to say, you know what, I'm going to be a better person. I'm going to grow into someone that I want to take care of more and that I love myself. So thank you for coming this far and for watching this video that I'm creating right now with you. To have that sense of commitment to yourself is super important and really, really powerful. Do you know what you could be capable of bringing to the world by having this own introspection and sense of self-love to take care of yourself and discover more of who you are? Like, that's pretty fantastic. So where am I going? Oh yeah, so this past 2 weeks has been quite a weird ups and downs. I got my booster shot, I got a cold, I got a cough, I had food poisoning, and also this all came off the back of having like one of the worst days of my life a week ago. I made that video a while back I think it's called I'm Done. Yeah, it was a hard day. I took a break and I really started to focus on taking care of myself and what I need. But through that process, I've learned a couple things, and maybe this is worth sharing with you, which is that, like, first of all, your identity of your narrative of who you are and how you can be resilient are super interconnected. So if your story around yourself allows you to believe that you can be strong and that you can overcome things, I label this the warrior mentality, then you're going to be able to get through it. But if you don't have a strong sense of your own narrative of who you are, you don't have a strong identity, or your identity is strongly tied to being a victim, then it's going to be very hard to get through some of the harder things because you're going to be less resilient. And so my resiliency was tested, I guess 2 weeks ago, when the guy I was seeing said that I wasn't feminine enough. I also was getting more blocks from trans healthcare, and I was questioning whether or not I even made the right decision to move here to Berlin. All of those things kind of came colliding at once, and it was a lot of pressure on me. And maybe I wasn't having a good day or week, and that was really hard to digest and work through, but I worked through it. And ultimately, the reason why I was able to work through it was because I had this strong sense of identity related to being a warrior. I find like this warrior mentality is so key because it allows you to recognize, first of all, that there's something that is really, really challenging, and it can feel like life and death sometimes, life and death for your ego. And that you can face this because with the mentality of a warrior, it means that you need strength and you need courage, and that you are the hero on this journey of transformation. And maybe that's the fundamental part that's really powerful about being a warrior, is to think of yourself as the hero in your own story. Don't be the bystander. Don't be like someone who's just passively there. Be the hero. Be the hero on their journey of transformation. This is like super powerful stuff. Changing your own narrative will help you change the world once you can change your own narrative and who you are, because it's going to change what you think you're capable of. I would have never thought that 5 years from now that I would have been capable of doing what I'm doing now. I'm living the dream that I was dreaming of a few years ago, and I've set myself up on that path, and now I'm setting myself up on my next dream and the thing that I want to do because I'm creative and I want to keep creating. So that's something that I've been working with, and maybe this is something for you to think about, which is like, what is your bedrock identity? What is the thing that you identify as you, and what is that story that you tell yourself all the time about all of the things? Do you tell yourself you're capable of doing things, or do you tell yourself you're incapable of doing things? When something goes wrong, do you say, I always do something wrong, or something wrong always happens to me? Why? Those kinds of thoughts are the things that are going to make you feel less empowered, and it's going to make it feel like the world is slipping. It's going to make it feel like the world is less in your control. So be aware of those kinds of thoughts and see how you can transform and change them into something positive, such as, instead of like, why do I do things always wrong, you can say, are there things that I can do that can make this better? What's happened has happened. Now I can act against this. And then you can also reflect on that and say, well, what could I do in the future to make this a better situation? Maybe I am a smart and capable person and I just made a mistake. One of those that has been really personal for me is I have come to the realization and acceptance that I have an addict's brain. Yeah, that's kind of like a weird thing to say, because at age 35, I've had quite a process of self-discovery and self-uncovery of who I am. But now I'm at a point of just recognizing some of the fundamental things in my brain that I just can't change. I can't go through. I've been on a journey of at least, since I was 19, I've been really focused on personal growth and development. Sorry, it's cold, by the way, and I had a cold last week, so my throat's a little dry. But yeah, I've done a lot of introspection. I've done a lot of work. I've shed so many tears. I could fill a bathtub with them. And by going through this process, I've learned so much about myself, including that I'm a woman. But one that I have recently come up against is realizing that I have an addict's brain. That at the more time that I spend learning about dopamine systems and how they work has really shown me that I'm a dopamine addict, and that I look for dopamine addictions wherever I can, where it's non-substance related, because my dad is an alcoholic and he's conditioned me to stay away from alcohol, which is a good thing. But I found dopamine through other systems such as YouTube, or playing video games, or doing other things that can release a lot of dopamine. And so it's caused me to take a step back and look at my brain in a different way, and look at my own experience in a different way. I think the secret to being highly successful in whatever field or thing that you want to do is really just knowing how to manage yourself. And that is where I'm at in the challenges and the hurdles that I'm growing in, is to uncover how to take care of myself in a way where I can maximize my ability to output things, and at the same time feel in tune with who I am and feeling good about what I'm doing. One of the weirdest things is, I think when we think about productivity, we think about just this flat line where you just go super hard and you just keep going and going and going and going, and you're just more and more productive. That's not how I work, and that's not how I have experienced the best way to move and live with my rhythms. We're all organic beings and we're not machines, and while we are asked to be consistent and be machines, we aren't really. And I'm probably one of the least consistent people. In fact, I thrive in the inconsistency. The variety of my day and variety of my life makes me a happy person. And doing these YouTube videos has probably been the biggest challenge, because it's the one thing that requires consistency. And it's honestly burnt me out many times before. So recognizing that I have an addict's brain, that I'm addicted to dopamine systems, also helped me realize like how to treat myself and what I should be doing, what's going to release dopamine, how is my dopamine debt going to create my perception of things that I want to do versus things that I don't want to do, and what is the flow of like the most optimal Ashley. And the most optimal Ashley has been to do things in a highly productive fashion and then take long breaks of complete unproductiveness, nothingness, just doing dumb, stupid shit. That's how I work really well. People say, oh my God, you're so productive, or you're a beast. It's because what I do is I just be hyper productive for a short period of time, and then I'm just not productive for a while. And then I just kind of do that. And that actually makes me the best kind of worker for myself and for the company that I work at. And hopefully for you too, because these spurts of creativity are exciting for me and it gives me a lot of energy. But I also have to acknowledge that I can't just do it all the time and be clipping like a bad sound MP3 of a terrible song that I made in like 10 years ago. So yeah, so that's some of the things that I've been processing. And I'd love to hear some of the things you've been processing, maybe for inspiration for new material. Thank you for supporting me, by the way, my patrons. And if you'd like to support me, you can check that out, as well as just like, subscribe, and share this video with other people that you think will benefit from it. Maybe I'll see you in an episode soon. Bye.